In the beginning, the valley was green, the bananas were free, and everyone's feet were equally dirty. Joe and the others stood at the edge of the Great Circle, each holding a small bag of shiny pebbles given to them by the Great Spirit of the board. At first, it feels like a gift. Joe feels rich. He has 1,500 pebbles and a dream of owning a nice dry cave with a view of the Mammoth Trail. He doesn't realize yet that these pebbles are not wealth. They are merely a countdown to his eventual starvation. The elder watches from the shadows, knowing that the first hunt is always a trap disguised as an opportunity. To move, Joe must shake the 2 square stones. The numbers on the stones decide his fate. If the spirits are kind, Joe lands on a patch of land no one has claimed yet. The elder explains that in the early days of the tribe, land was just land. But in the world of the monopoly, land is a weapon. Joe finds a patch of dirt with some pretty flowers. The Great Spirit tells him he can own this dirt if he gives up some of his pebbles. Joe agrees. He sticks a small wooden branch in the ground. He is now a landowner. He feels powerful. He doesn't see the fat chief behind him, buying the cave right next to the waterhole. As the sun rises higher, the tribe begins to walk in circles. This is the great cycle of the valley. Every time they pass the big fire, the Great Spirit gives them 200 more pebbles. It feels like progress, but there is a catch. The valley is getting crowded. Everywhere Joe steps, someone else has planted a branch. Suddenly, Joe steps on a patch of grass owned by the fat chief. The fat chief doesn't say a word, but he points at a small sign carved in a rock. It says, "Rent." Joe must give the chief 10 of his precious pebbles just for the privilege of standing on the grass for 3 seconds. This is the straw. It is small now, but it is the beginning of the end. The fat chief is a wise predator. He doesn't just own one patch of grass, he buys all the patches that look the same. He gathers the 3 red caves near the mountain. Once he owns the set, he gains a dark power. He begins to pile mud and sticks on the land. He calls them houses. Now, when Joe lands there, he doesn't pay 10 pebbles, he pays 100. The elder sighs. This is the multiplier effect. The chief isn't working harder. He isn't hunting more mammoths. He is simply sitting in his cave while the houses do the hunting for him. Joe is running faster and faster around the fire just to pay for his previous steps. Joe gets lucky and lands in a place called the Great Hole, jail. At first, Joe is sad. He is stuck. He cannot hunt. He cannot move. But the elder whispers a secret. In the late stages of the Great Cycle, the Great Hole is the safest place in the valley. Outside, the fat chief has built giant stone longhouses, hotels, on every corner. To walk outside is to face certain bankruptcy. Joe sits in the hole, watching the other hunters lose their bags of pebbles one by one. For the first time, being a prisoner is better than being a free man who owes rent. There are places in the valley that belong to no one, yet they take everything. The tax cave. Joe lands there and must give the Great Spirit a large portion of his bag just because he exists. Then there are the magic vines, utilities. If the fat chief owns the vines that bring water and the sparks that make fire, Joe is trapped. Every time Joe wants to drink or stay warm, a few more pebbles migrate from his bag to the chief's pile. The elder points out the macro truth. Wealth in the valley is moving in only one direction, up the mountain to the biggest cave. Joe is down to his last 3 bananas and a handful of dust. He owns a small, pathetic cave near the stinky swamp, the cheap brown properties. The fat chief wants it, not because the swamp is good, but because the chief wants to own everything the light touches. The chief offers Joe a single fish for the entire swamp. Joe is hungry. His stomach is growling. He makes the trade. He eats the fish in one bite. Now, Joe owns nothing. He is a tenant. He is a ghost in his own valley. He continues to walk the circle, but now every step is a debt.
The end of the saga is quiet. One by one, the other hunters run out of pebbles.
They have no caves to mortgage. They have no fish to trade. They simply vanish into the woods, hungry and broken. Only the fat chief remains. He sits on a mountain of 15,000 pebbles, owning every cave, every tree, and every drop of water in the valley. But there is a problem. There is no one left to pay him rent. The economy of the tribe has stopped. The chief is the winner, but he is a king of a graveyard. The elder closes his eyes. The game is over. Not when someone succeeds, but when everyone else fails. The Great Circle was never about who could hunt the best mammoth. It was about who could build the most toll booths. In the world of the Monopoly, the winner is the one who stops the others from moving. Joe learned that too late. Next time the Great Spirit hands out the bags of pebbles, Joe will not buy the pretty flowers. He will buy the path to the water. Because in the valley, if you don't own the dirt eventually owns you.